Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I'm just sitting here thinking back to the last time we got together with her, and my head is still spinning from that time. And that was like a week or two ago, in what was revealed with somebody in doing a reading and the energy and spirit of somebody on the other side coming through, all validated by the person she was reading. Just, we're going to do it again. It was so good. It was so, she's read me before. As a matter of fact, even in that reading, I just remembered this, Shannon, that you read my aunt came through like a month, 2 months ago, and the phone number of the person that we just randomly read was the address of my aunt's house. Just freaky weird. Shannon Dee Sees Things. She's back with us. Hi, Shannon. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. It's been a wonderful season to read people. So it's just the season and we're really busy and we keep getting busier all the time. And it's just been great. I know that Jen's been fielding a lot of calls, a lot of texts, and we've getting increased traffic and a lot of people are getting so much healing and that's the point of it is to give
Love it.
people messages of healing, hope, and love.
Well, let's keep it going. We have Sherry. Hi, Sherry.
Hi.
So say hi to Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Sherry. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So I
So
want to jump in here just for any skeptics out there that you guys, you don't know each other and you haven't been read before. Is that right, Sherry?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's going to be kind of weird because we got a Shannon and a Sherry, a Shannon and a Sherry. But anyway,
imagine if we were sisters, her mom would be all confused. So, Sherry, is there someone specific that you want to hear from today, or how do you want to do it?
Yeah. So my dad.
Your dad. Okay.
Yeah.
And what is your dad's first and last name?
It's Silvis Cataldi.
Okay.
He went by Nick, but his legal name is Silvis.
Business?
Say that again?
You own a business?
Yes.
Is it a business, a small business in a town? Small business versus a large business?
I would say it's probably a small business.
Okay. I'm hearing it sounds like metal, like it's slicing things. What the heck is that? Is it slicing paper? Is it slicing metal? Is it slicing food? What is it slicing?
So he was a heavy equipment mechanic.
Okay. That would sound okay. That would sound right. And he really loved what he did. Like he
Yeah.
was really good. His workers loved him, and he was a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like not
Yeah.
tall, just he
No.
was just big.
Yes.
And he had big, like his hands were really thick
Mhm.
from all the work, and he had a lot of calluses, and he was really proud of that because he said, when you have calluses, it means you worked.
Yeah.
Yes. But his hands were really gentle when he touched your mother. Is that true?
Well, my mom left, but I was able to let my stepmom, but he had a thing for my mom. Like, still, if she would have
Till
came
he
back, he
died.
would have taken her back. Yeah.
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 He loved her till he died. He never stopped
Yeah.
loving your mom. Is that
Yeah,
true?
they're both gone. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's with her today. He's with her today. She was his one true love. Would you say that's true?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're back together again in heaven. And would that make you happy? Because it's making him happy.
I mean, if it's making him happy, sure. I didn't know too much about my mom, but if he's happy, sure.
Yeah. And she is saying that she's sorry for the pain that she caused him. She said that she was young and stupid, and the decisions that she made were because she thought that she could do better.
Mm.
She thought that she could find money and happiness somewhere else, and didn't think that he was quite what she was looking for. But she never lost her feelings for him, and she thought that she would. But she really missed. Do you have a sister? Or
Yeah,
you
I
have?
have a sister. We together. Yeah.
Because she said,
Together.
she said, I really missed you girls. And she feels like she is the reason why your sister is the way she is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And she's really sorry for that. She keeps showing me a leaf of a holly branch. Does that make sense?
Mm,
So
no,
is it around Christmas, or is there a holly bush outside somebody's house, or was there?
I'm trying to. I mean, my childhood was. I was all over the place. I'm trying to think.
To the right of the door, it'll come to you. I'm gonna reach back
Okay.
out to you because it's gonna come to you,
Okay.
because I had that. Steve calls it psychic amnesia, when you can't think of something, then it comes back to you. They'll come back to you.
Okay.
I had that happen to
Okay.
somebody this week. They couldn't come up with a name, and then 3 days later they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, I know who you were talking about."
Okay.
But it will come back to you because she keeps showing it to me. But in the
What's
interest of time,
I don't know why, and this happened once before, otherwise I would never jump in here. Um Sherry, what month was your dad born?
He was born on February, Valentine's Day.
Hmm.
um, did did he used to plow snow?
No. I, I mean, my brother did.
And your brother, is he still with us?
Yeah, both of my brothers.
Okay. Okay. So, why am I seeing building snowmen?
It's probably a memory from like when I was little. I remember that the house, and there's a bunch of pictures of us, me and my little sister, of that. There's a lot of pictures. I don't have a lot of pictures from my childhood, but there's a lot of pictures of snow and us in the snow.
Maybe that's why they're showing the holly, and then they're showing. I'm seeing like a lot of pictures of snow mounds, and I'm seeing people standing on top with, with all their snow gear on, like they're king of the mountain.
Yeah,
And
there's lots of pictures like that.
okay, that's why your dad's showing me this. Because he said those were very happy times. But your dad is saying, he's very proud of you. And he wants you to know that. And he feels that he said it, but he wants you to hear it again, because he wants you to know how much he loves you. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Um, are you going through anything, or have you gone through something in the last few years that you would have really wished he was there?
Well, that's sort of it. He didn't really have a good relationship. He was remarried, so he didn't really have a good relationship with my little sister did. He picked his wife over some of his kids, and he wanted to say goodbye. Like, he wanted to talk to us before, because he was sick, and we never got a chance to. So
Yes, and he's saying that he feels like the reason why he did that, he wants you to understand, is because he didn't want to, it isn't that he didn't love you. It's because he didn't want to lose another wife. And he felt like he was in a very precarious position. It's because if he didn't choose his wife, he would have lost out on love again. Your dad had a very significant fear of being alone. And
Oh
so,
my God, so true.
yes, so that's true. Yeah. So you knew that. And it wasn't that he didn't love you and his heart aches that you think that he chose her over you. He's saying, baby girl, it was never a choice. He says, you know that you girls were always my princesses. Did he call you his princess when he
Yeah,
was?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So that makes sense to you because most fathers don't come to me and say princess. I very, very rarely ever hear that. But he's saying you were always his princess. And he's saying, I don't want you to think that I chose her over my princess. And his heart is breaking for you. He's saying the reason why that is how it came out is because his fear of being alone and of dying alone was so great that it's almost like it paralyzed him. He says it's like he couldn't be alone because the pain when your mom left him was so great that he literally could not put his foot down with her because she had a very strong personality, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So if he said to her, I'm going to see my kids, she was very jealous. And if he said, I'm going to go see my kids and I'm going to invite them over and this is the way it's going to be, she would threaten him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was afraid if he really put his foot down, she would threaten him. And she knew his weakness. She was his wife. And so he was afraid. He was afraid. And she kept him from you at the end. So it had nothing to do with him not loving you. Nothing to do with him not loving you. Nothing. And so now I understand what the holly bush is. The holly, when you see a holly bush,
Mm-hmm.
um, especially in the winter, when you see
Mhm.
holly, anytime in the winter, when you see things with holly, it's like an olive branch for him because holly equates things with winter and snow and how much fun you kids had in the winter. And now it makes sense to me. That is his olive branch. He wants you to think of all the fun that you kids had, and that was the best time in your lives. And he wants you to think about that. So when you see holly wreaths, when you hear things that have to do with holly, when you see holly bushes, he wants you to think of them as him sending you love, him sending you, telling you that how much he does love you and that you are his princess and how sorry he is. Because I can feel when they're genuine and your dad's heart is genuinely repentant. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He would have never, if he had a different life or if he didn't have that fear, and it was really the fear, he would have never, never, never made those choices. But the fear of dying alone, the fear of being alone will make people do very unusual choices. And I've seen it again and again. And he he was he was just so wrapped around the wheel and she fed on that and she knew what she was doing. And she controlled him. She
Mm-hmm.
controlled him. So you're going to see a lot of things to do with Holly. You'll see, I tell people I don't get a lot of cardinals. I've gotten a few in the last few months. You'll see cardinals sitting on holly bushes, but you're going to see a
So
lot of things with
that's so
Holly.
weird because I have a wreath out front and it has white like little, and I never have that many cardinals. And the past couple of weeks, this cardinal keeps sitting on the wreath out front of my house.
The
So
cardinal keeps getting on the wreath. And so that's your
Now,
father.
did you say wreath?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Christmas wreath,
Yeah.
like made out of holly.
Yeah. Like it's white. It's white instead of like, you know how the holly has the red, it's white.
Right, but is it holly looking like leaves?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Cardinal keeps getting on it, and that's your
Is
dad.
a quick question. Sherry,
Yeah.
tell me about your dad's parents.
So he had a horrible childhood. He was in a, and I think that's sort of half of his problem. He was in, like, he had two siblings. He had a sister and a brother. Who was really close to his sister. We lost my aunt young, which was a shame because I don't think my dad would have done half the stuff he did if she was still here. But he had his mom. They were divorced. He had a stepmom. She like beat him, and they were in a home.
And
He
there you
didn't
go.
have a very good childhood.
And that's, I just
Sure.
want to say, that's his fear of being alone.
Yeah.
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 Did you live with him?
I lived, well, when my mom left when we were 8, he was a heavy equipment mechanic. He worked all the time. We did live with him until, pretty much through high school and everything. He was a good dad. I mean, he was a good, yes, I lived with him until I, moved out on my own when I was older. Yeah.
I'm just going to say that I relate to all of this because my daughter lives with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I get it. I get it.
Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. Amazing. I'm like, when he showed me the cardinal on the wreath, I was like, wow. When you said you have a wreath with a cardinal, I'm like, what?
Well, I'm making the holly connection on the wreath. As soon as you said wreath, I'm like, I'm lasered right into, the holidays.
Yeah.
I could type of
And
decoration.
that was really the only time he was like, my dad was ever really happy was Christmas. Because he had like a lot of things he struggled with, and he was always, and I loved Christmas. So, yeah.
Wow.
That wreath up all year long.
Yeah.
He'll always come visit you. Yeah, he'll always come
Yeah.
visit you. But how it shocked me when you said you had a white wreath up and the cardinal was already there. Because I was like, why is he throwing the cardinal in at the last minute? It always shocks me. Always. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Wow. We're just about out of time. Sherry,
Yeah.
thoughts. What are your thoughts on today's reading?
I mean, it was good. I mean, it just was good. It made me cry, and it's just so crazy, and I'm glad he's happy. He finally found some peace. It's, I knew he probably would go with my mother, so it's so crazy.
Yeah. And he definitely feels more peaceful now. That especially because he knows that that he's nearby.
Yeah.
He definitely feels peaceful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us today, Sherry.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Shannon.
you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, wow.
Wreath with the cardinal. That is always amazing.
Yeah.
I'm always shocked. I always try to like not show it, but it's like, oh my gosh.
So I'm gonna, I'm always transparent. I'm always skeptical when I hear the cardinal thing, and if it supports somebody, that's fantastic. But I need specific signs. I get them because I asked for them. That's just me. When you said cardinal, you see him every once in a while, whatever. Okay. Yeah, same thing. Could have been a butterfly, whatever. Some people say, so a butterfly, I felt like I was connected to my, insert name or relative. When the cardinal flies on the Christmas wreath a la holly, that's, okay.
That's a little specific. Yeah. And I don't
that's
get
it.
that many cardinals. Like I know mediums who
Agreed.
get tons. And I've been getting it this month, I've been getting them. And I'm like, where are all these cardinals? I usually don't get that many.
I get it. Oh, I hear you.
I've gotten bobby pins for heaven's sakes, but cardinals, not that many.
Same in my area. You're in Pennsylvania, right? Or is that where you are now?
I'm in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
And New York, suburb of. Maybe once a summer I see one, and when I do, it's like, oh, look at that! How cool that is. There are not a lot of them around. Same thing with frogs. You don't see a lot of frogs anymore. Or it's pesticides or whatever. but it's still cool to see them. But today, when you connected it, amazing. How do we connect with you, Shannon? How do we do that?
Well, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Just look for Shannon Dee Sees. You can also call or text Jen to make an appointment, individual, or we could do it by Zoom, in person, or group at 215-680-7693. And our website will be coming soon, so you can self-schedule.
I don't know if I ever say this, but I love today's reading. It's
Yeah.
like, it's not like I'm giving a review, but I thought it was wonderful. You're wonderful, and thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. It was
All
good
right.
to see you.
You too. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.